What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports Showdown video for the Thursday night game here between the Packers and the 49ers. And this is going to be one of the more interesting games that we have, I think, all season long in terms of showdown. A lot of injuries, a lot of COVID stuff where a lot of guys are out due to the positive tests and, close personal contact with people that have tested positive. But before we dive into all that, bring in my co-host, the Showdown Master himself, Mr. Big T. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on? Yeah, we're working our way back into some foots here. We got good news about basketball too. It looks like it's going to start December 22nd. So I'm excited because this gap's brutal, man. Obviously, we had the election stuff, which everyone followed, but you got Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays, for that matter, are going to be pretty boring when it's just football. We're so used to having action every day. It's just strange to not have much going on. But that being said, we got foots tonight, and I think we got some opportunity too because we got guys out. We got a bunch of decisions to make, and these are the best showdowns to play, I think, where you have guys that are going to be total locks, and then you have a bunch of spots where maybe you can get different. Maybe you can try to figure out where to go to kind of get you over the hump, different routes. And tonight, I'm excited because I think I have a little bit contrarian of a build coming. I can't, your sound's all jacked up with your earphones, I think. I can't hear you. But it's that Papa shot coming behind the hoopster is what it is. He's got that broke jump shot coming. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you totally fine. My speaker, I
can hear you now.
Yeah, my speaker. It's messed up, and hang on. Continue to talk about this game for a second. I got to figure this out. I have something wrong here on my end.
Yeah, so we got tonight, just as far as the odds aspect, let's pull up the current odds here. We got San Francisco just off the top has basically the whole team freaking out tonight. But the spread, Green Bay, is only 6.5 or 7, depending on where you're looking. It's a spot too where the last couple of years, San Francisco has really got the best of Green Bay, pounding them on the ground. So you got to kind of decipher how much of that is relevant for this year with not as many guys healthy from the San Francisco side, but it's still the same system. It's still the same aspect of everything where it should still apply, even with guys like Hasty as we get into the player pool. While Hoop's gone too, we can jump into this part of it where I was going to show her. So everyone that is signing up for Lineup HQ over on this site, Run Pure, I pulled it up on the screen share. If you go to NFL, you come to Lineup Builder. I'll pull it up on here and we can kind of go through it. You'll have to make sure you got a Roto Grinders account. You'll sign it in with the Run Pure also. And then it'll bring you to this page right here where we got all the different sports you can pull up on the Lineup Builder. So let's go to NFL. Again, this is just a $65 add-on over at the Run Pure site. It'll bring you to Lineup HQ over on RG. It'll give you the Run Pure projections right here, which is what we want. And then it's just the normal settings we come into every time when we're starting a showdown slate. I always just make it 150 just to kind of see. We'll start. We can play more with the salary functions too. 50,000. We got. I mean, the negative salary, what you're leaving left, doesn't really matter that much. So we'll leave that there.
Your boy's back. Sorry about that.
I was going over the Lineup Builder anyway, so I'll just keep going with the settings. Yeah, so we go to player pool, and all it does out of the gate is just make sure, it might help if I pull the right slate up too. Let's pull in. So you come to this page too when you're on DraftKings. Shows you all the slates. Tonight, obviously, we're just right over here, Green Bay, San Fran. Before you can run it, you just got to basically change 2 projections or pull a couple guys out. I usually just pull some of the scrub guys out, but tonight you don't really know who the scrub guys are. So all you have to do is just literally change 2 numbers, like change him to 24, change Trent Taylor to whatever, 10.2, and then it'll let you run it just with those, kind of see what it gives us for a default build tonight. But Now that we got Hoopster back, we can get his preliminary thoughts about the game as well.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this game just completely riddled with injuries and then the COVID stuff. I mean, the 49ers just completely obviously decimated. Jimmy G out, which I don't know. I think that might actually be better for the team long term. And he was a disaster last week. Unfortunately, I did play him on the main slate
God,
on
he was
DraftKings.
bad. Like, he was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, very, very, very painful roster. And then Mullins comes in, and obviously they're playing from behind and, going up against a prevent defense. And he was solid, got the offense rolling, but Kittle obviously out. Bourne, Ayuk, both out with the COVID stuff. Bourne, I think they tested positive and then negative, so it sounded like maybe there's a chance he's going to play, but he will. He'll still be out. So I mean, the Niners just completely decimated, and we have some very cheap guys, obviously, for that due to those injuries. Now on the Packers side, Jamal Williams, AJ Dillon, both out. And it sounds like Aaron Jones is going to play, but there's some talk like potentially in a limited role. So give me the rundown, of all these injuries and COVID-related guys out.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing I think as we go through the players, obviously, is going to be just Aaron Jones, because if he doesn't play, you're going to have two values from let me go back to the player pool. The Green Bay side, you're going to have good values at running back between Tyler Ervin and Dexter Williams. Yeah. Both are going to have good projections if Aaron Jones is out. So what's like the updated thing? You think I don't think he plays limited. You think he plays limited?
Well, they said he's going to play, right?
I mean, I think that's like the up. I didn't hear that limited part though.
Well, I mean, I think that's just speculation. Like, why, if he hasn't practiced much, is he going to have full workload? For me personally, I think if he plays, he's going to play.
I mean, yeah, I do too. I mean, they're in the race where it's like they wouldn't play him and risk him. I don't think if he wasn't good to go. So I was the lineup builder too. This is just an example because we get just so many questions. I like doing the content with it because. So say that right now, obviously, when you look at our projections, we have Aaron Jones out still on here. So if I knew that Aaron Jones is going to play, which we both think he is, all you have to do is go hide unprojected. And then you got Aaron Jones right here. Change his projection immediately up to like 20, which I think is a decent projection to start out with. Unclick the hide unprojected. All of a sudden, we're back to just these three. And right away, I would lower these guys basically to nothing, like 1 and 1. Just for now. I mean, you can always adjust based on news. Later on, we find out Aaron Jones is only going to play half the snaps. Right away, I'll come back in and put these guys back in the player pool. But for now, I think a 20 is pretty safe. Like, what do you think about these two guys if Aaron Jones is in like we think he is?
I mean, still, I think in play. I mean, I think they're still going to get snaps. I mean, we've seen when Aaron Jones is 100% healthy, he's not getting all of the work. I mean, they're playing Jamal Williams, they're playing AJ Dillon a ton. So I mean, both those guys are getting work. So I think both these guys get work, even if Aaron Jones plays, right?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, man, I hope Aaron Jones plays, and the way the game goes tonight. You could definitely get some edge if you think these guys still get, especially I think Tyler Ervin would get a decent amount of work just because he can do some stuff in the passing game. He can do more than Dexter Williams is more of a Jamal Williams type, I want to say, without like going too deep into it. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because a lot of these places still are acting like Aaron Jones isn't a full go. So I'm trying to get more info.
I mean, it just seems like it was more speculation. I think it was Rappaport, I want to say, that kind of made the speculation like they wouldn't be 100%. That's like the only thing I've seen on it. I haven't seen anything else. So, a lot of projection sites are still kind of lagging in terms of projecting Aaron Jones properly as far as I'm concerned. Like, I think if he's going to be out there, he's going to be their main guy. Like, they're not bringing him back to play like 50% of snaps. If they're bringing him back to play 50% of snaps, he's just not going to play. Like, he's got to be very close to fully healthy. The injury has never sounded very serious. It sounded more like precautionary anyway. So, like, I'm assuming if he's in, he's a full go, and that's how I'm building my lineups based on that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you can kind of go with it too. I mean, obviously, you check out over on the site, Run Pure Sports. Later on, we're going to have a bunch of content. If you click the blue logo at the top, Showdowns, it's going to take you to the Showdown site, which will have our video up here. It's probably live right now playing. And then we got the Gems article, too, you can check out over on the site. And then the playbook later today in Core Plays we'll have up. So once we get inactives or news, I mean, the news might hit before then, too, where we get just official news, where we get something more, a little concrete, you can go with it. But for now on this show, we're going to just assume he's in. If he's not, you can always circle back. Super easy. I would give Tyler Irvin a little bit higher of a projection than I would Dexter Williams, just if that happened. But for now, let's just leave it like that. And I clicked the wrong one. Let's leave it like that, and let's run the 150 and see what we get just to start out here. Like we always do on these shows, I think it's good to run 150 before you really change any of your rules, just to see kind of where the chalk is going to fall, where the people are going, where the best plays are, and then adjust from there if needed.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Also, we're obviously this is part of our premium package here, these shows, and we're doing it for free today because guess what? There's not much going on. Big T and myself, we like getting with the people. We like getting with our YouTube crew as well, our Morning Wood crew. So, make sure you hit the like button so we can continue to do more of these videos for free throughout the season. A lot of these sports have come to an end. So we definitely want to do more of these free videos on YouTube. So hit the like button, subscribe as well. And, if you like what you're seeing, head on over to Run Pure Sports and check out our packages. Right now we have a promo code Showdown. You punch that in at checkout, you get 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. And, we're pretty confident in our product. We think you'll definitely like it. So as I said, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We got 276 people. If we can get that sucker up to 150 in terms of likes, we'll give some gear away. I think we got
tons of gear now too. I got tons of hats. I got tons of shirts. We got a whole new supply in. We can. 150, 200. We'll keep giving gear every 50 once we get to 150. So hit that hit that subscribe. The gear is nice too. So get in there and get it. It's free.
Yeah, so right now we're going to, at 150, if we get up to 150 likes, we'll give some gear away. If we get, more people rolling in, we'll hit it at that next stage as well. So, did that 150 go through the optimal? Did you run that? The optimizer?
So, what do we got? The captains, we got 39% Devontae, 25 Aaron Rodgers, 23 Jones. So basically what you would expect. If Aaron Jones is healthy, it's going to be those three as the captain.
Yeah.
As the main dudes, just because all the San Francisco guys are cheap, which people just aren't going to go there. You got, Devontae Adams, we said it on the wood every week. He's like Mike Williams, or Mike Thomas from last year. Where it's 30 points a game he's going to get. You can project him, I think we have him projected for 24. You can project him for even higher. I think you can project him for high 20s every game. So just a monster, great there. And then all the cheaper guys there. But then you come to flex, and all of a sudden you got Trent Taylor, who is only 400, going to be popular tonight without a doubt, because all their receivers are out. So he's going to get work, 77%. And then our three Packers these three Packers are going to hit. Rodgers and Devontae are going to be in the 90s%, and it's really, really hard to see them not in the optimal. I don't really see a way around it, so it kind of makes the slate interesting how we can get different. Aaron Jones, too, if he's in there, I just don't see how these three don't hit it. So then how do you get different? You got 33% Hasty, Mullins, Richie James. Richie James sucks. If he's going to be popular tonight, that's good.
He definitely will be.
Too.
James will be very popular, right?
Yeah, he just has to. These guys are so we can go positions, but Richie James 200 and Trent Taylor 400 are the top two receivers for this team. Yeah. So they're going to have to be popular. And honestly, I don't think either one of them's any good. So it kind of gives us an advantage in some ways. If we can figure out a different path to go, I think that could be an edge for us on this slate.
I mean, is there any sort of path that you're leaning? I mean, these guys, I mean, you don't need to go super cheap. I mean, you can build teams that don't include these guys. Is there any other like cheap guys that have your interest besides these dudes?
So I was gonna pull up let me see if I can pull it up on a different screen. I was gonna pull up the box scores from last year because they played twice. One of these games when the Niners played the Packers was when I had my biggest hit for like 250K or whatever it was, because San Francisco pounds this team on the ground, and then they played again in the playoffs and they freaking pounded them again. So I want to pull up these games from last year just to show these box scores, but let me pull it up. Different screen so I can actually find it. But that's the path for me to where you could really have an edge. Let's pull it up just on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, so what? Last week, this Hasty guy basically comes out of nowhere and gets. I mean, where did this guy come from? Hasty.
I'm pretty sure he's from Baylor off the top of my head. He was a Baylor running back. Let me see. So last year we got November 24th regular season game, 37-8 Niners. This was the game I won 250K. Look at these rushing yards. Kittle and Devontae both had big games. I remember it. And on the ground, let's see what they did. Mostert had a touchdown. Tevin Coleman had a touchdown. Not big yards, though, 45 and 39. And that was because they had a big lead, too. Kittle, they killed him on the tight end, killed him. And then Devontae had 7 for 43, a touchdown. Aaron won. San Francisco's D was just smashing. So
yeah, that's what I say. I mean, both these teams are much different this season. I mean, the Packers' offense is same. I mean, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the Packers to me just so different than what they were last season. Aaron Rodgers without these fans has just been absolutely smashing. Like
that part.
I just I don't know. And the Niners defense is not as good. Like they're not going to be able to do that as far as I'm concerned. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can pick that game script and go with it to kind of be different, but I just don't know how successful that's going to be.
You come back to the post. So this is the postseason game, 37-20 Niners, 220 yards on the ground from Mostert, 4 touchdowns. You go back. Aaron Jones, nothing on the ground again, 12 for 56 and a touchdown. Rodgers had a decent game, but I think some of it was scrub time. Devontae, too. Point being, San Francisco pounded these guys twice last year. Everyone's going to play the Green Bay guys, obviously, but I mean, I think there's an edge in the ground game for San Francisco.
Well, I mean, clearly, if San Francisco had it their way tonight, like Mullins would pass like 18 times and they'd hand it off to all these running backs, but you have to have a lead to be able to do that. And it's going to be unique. I mean, if you go heavy on the Niners run attack,
hold on a second. So these ownerships, I don't even know where we get them from, but I don't know who Chris Thompson is either. He's not, there's no way Chris Thompson's even active, is he?
I don't know.
This is just an example too of, so we just started doing the lineup builder with our projections. So if you ever see just a random dude in there, like just get them out of there, just X them out. Because Chris Thompson, I don't even think is on the roster. So just, you always got to check your numbers when you're doing this. Get him out of there. But so the ownership, Trev Taylor is there's no way this dude is 17% at 400. When you got all those Green Bay guys we want to play, like these dudes are going to have to be owned.
Massive ownership.
And then I think Hasty will be owned, but honestly, I like Hasty as much as anyone in this game. I just think he's going to crush. I don't know why. I mean, what was his numbers last week? Did he get?
He had 12 carries. I mean, he didn't do all that good when it was all said and done. 12 for 29. And a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean that's rough, but it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, you look at the Niners too. Like they played at Seattle, at New England, who has a good defense, Rams, Dolphins, Philly. Like all those defenses are pretty good. I'll just come out and say it. Like I think the Niners win outright tonight.
Oh man, we've been in lockstep on a lot of these shows. Like we've been in a lockstep for the most part.
Yeah.
But tonight ends that. Man, that's
I like it, 5-star play too. Like I think it's I love the Niners tonight. Like because I think they're going to pound them on the ground. I think they're going to run all over them. Dalvin Cook last week against this same D just gashed them. I think San Francisco is going to gash them the same way. I love it. Like I think they're going to win outright. I'll just say it. I don't even need the 7. When you call the bookmaker later today, just say I don't need the points. Give them to the next guy that calls. I mean, we don't need the points.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I mean, I obviously don't agree with that, but hey, I mean, you never know. I mean, I just
might suck too. Like they were terrible last week. They were terrible.
Well, I think I don't think they. I mean, Green Bay not as good as they looked early on in the season. I think honestly, most of success early on in the season was Aaron Rodgers taking advantage of defenses without the crowd.
Look at the teams they played early: Minnesota, Detroit, New Orleans, Atlanta.
Yeah, that's
and then they played Tampa, who they got embarrassed. Houston, they looked decent versus Houston, but another horrible defense.
Houston's terrible.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we got a little vulnerability here tonight. I love that the dude in chat wants to you can give me 10 for 500 as long as you post Antoine Murphy. Slide into my DMs. You can send me 500 on Venmo, and if you win, I'll send you 1,000 back. That's a good deal. I'll take the 10. Committed.
There it is. We got our first bet of the show. I like it.
I mean, I'll call his bluff if he wants to get in there and say, hey, sure, I'll take the 10, big boy.
Let's talk about the some of the other Packers guys. I mean, it's with Devontae Adams, with Aaron Rodgers, with Aaron Jones. I mean, such a large percentage of their offensive production will clearly come from those 3 guys. I think the next guy in line would be Tanyan, who I think is a fine play. Continues 7 targets last game, 5 receptions, 79 yards. I mean, he's looked good. He's looked solid. I think he's also in play here in that conversation. Would you agree?
Yeah. So for sure for me, another thing I like about this game is just how concentrated the Green Bay is going to be. It's all going to go to Adams. It's all going to go to Jones if he plays, and even if he doesn't, Tanyan is that next guy for me. And honestly, I don't really feel the need, again, because I like San Francisco, and it's just how we do these showdown shows. I don't really need to play. Like, there's all the value on the Frisco side. I don't need to play Mercedes Lewis for 200 or Sternberger for 1,800 or MVS who can't catch anything for 3,400. I mean, this dude is awful. He never catches anything. And he's going to be popular on top of it for 3,400. So for me, I agree. Like, it's Tanyan and then the good guys for me. And honestly, if Aaron Jones is in, I don't really see the need to play any of these other guys.
The MVS thing is just so weird because, I mean, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the last 10 years consistently. And he's just not good. And how do they continue to roll him out? I know there's some talk about Antonio Brown. They didn't get it done, but like you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. Like, how are you not productive on the football field?
How many times is he like wide open and he like runs a wrong route or
it's like crazy. Or something. Yes. He's painful to watch. I mean, his conversion rate, like 4 receptions, 8 targets 4 weeks ago, 3 for 5, 0 for 4 2 weeks ago against Houston. Like, that's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. I'll guarantee you that. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, much rather play either kicker over him. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, so just to finish on what you're saying about MVS, I mean, look at this: 3 points, 0, 6, 8, 1, 9. He just sucks, man. I love that the chat's all over him. I mean, you guys can have him in the chat. Have this dude. He can't catch. I mean, he's bad. But did you say something about the kickers before that?
Oh, I said I'd rather play the kickers over MVS in that price range.
I couldn't agree more. And the thing about these kickers tonight, these 2 kickers are good. This is definitely a kicker game for me because these are 2 offenses that honestly I could see moving the ball and then stalling out maybe a little bit. Green Bay is really good when they get down in there just because Devontae Adams is just a total stud on the little like seam, like the out routes and the little the crossing patterns that he always feels like he's open. But like Crosby is just a beast. I mean, the dude those fantasy points can't be right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is. But both these kickers put up good numbers, and I agree. I think it could be a 2-kicker night, even with all this value. Everyone's just going to play the cheaper guys and the studs, and they're not going to necessarily play the kickers. And the kickers have had success lately. So we started the year. We've done all the shows, obviously, at Run Pure. The kickers were killing us early in the year. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, was it the last Millie Maker that the winner had a kicker and the captain? I think it was.
Yeah, I had that really good team too in the
From
2K
the show, right?
Yeah, and I had kicker in the captain spot and kind of just had everyone else. I was surprised no one else played it, but who the hell? What game was that? I'm drawing a blank here, and I did really well.
I can't remember either. It was I'd have to.
The Buccaneers Ryan Suckup.
Yeah, suck up.
Yeah.
And the best part is we ran our 150 like we did today. And the very first build we pulled up was the suck up captain team. And I don't know if it was the exact team that ended up winning, but
I played the one team, and that's what team it finished second in the 2K or third in the 2K, and I played it because we did it on the show. I was like, damn, I really like that team. These kickers, man, at these price tags, we've always been proponents for playing kickers, and this is definitely a kicker game for me as well.
So we got an Aaron Jones update from Schefter. Aaron Jones is expected to be active tonight, barring a pregame setback. They plan to be careful in parentheses and do want to see how he feels pregame with his calf injury, but he is expected to be up tonight.
That is interesting. I mean,
so we got a lot of unknown with him. You kind of said it starting the show that's what people have been saying.
Yeah.
I still think he's healthy, but the downside to it is, if he gets one wrong turn and something tightens up, he's going to come out and he's not going to play anymore. So,
yeah.
What do we think this means for his own? Because it is such a deciding point of the night. If he's somehow out, those other two guys are borderline locks.
I almost think they're locks either way, to be honest with you. I think you play Rodgers, you play Adams. And for me,
not those two. I wasn't talking about those two. I was talking about the other running backs.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, Devontae and Rodgers.
Yeah. They're still. They have to be strongly in play. Both of them. We always talk about it when you roster dudes that are like hundreds of dollars on these slates. Like, well, tonight might be a little bit different because there's like 4 or 5 of them. You're actually probably going to need those guys to do something. I was going to say you don't need much, but tonight
it's all of them tonight. Yeah,
you're going to need them to do something because if you pick wrong down there, you're in trouble.
Literally everyone tonight is going to play these two, Devontae and Rodgers, obviously, which means you're going to play all the cheap guys too. I'm torn with Aaron Jones. I really am. If you told me Aaron Jones was going to be like even 40% owned, I would lock him in. But if you told me he was going to be 70%, I think he's a fade. It's just too easy to fit him is the issue.
People are obviously going to play too cheap. Let's say you play Rodgers, Adams. We'll put one of those in just to see what sort of salary you have left. At Rodgers, Adams. You go down, you play a couple of the cheap dudes with them. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So he's going to be high owned, even if he's active. Look
at this top team right here. You have all the good dudes, and it's like impossible. So let's do this real quick, just because I like to show how to use the lineup builder. Let's just say he gets 12 instead of 20.
Yeah.
Let's give him just 12. Let's see how many he hits. Because my guess is he's probably still going to hit a bunch of these teams, even at 12, just because so many good plays are free tonight. All the receivers and running backs and everybody is free.
If you play that team right there, all right, even if it ships, you probably will be losing money because that team right there is going to be so duped with, Rodgers or Adams and the captain, and then Aaron Jones, the quarterback, Mullins, and then 2 cheap dudes. Like, that is going to be the most obvious popular build maybe of all time in Showdown.
So interestingly, I give him 12. He only hits 20% of the builds. So that kind of means he might be a fade. Honestly, because 12, I feel like 12 is a somewhat decent projection. What was that game the other night, by the way? We were all over it with those projections. What did we just say? Suck up?
Yeah, the Bucks.
we gave those projections we gave for those running backs were good, and we had some nice, because on the show we were basically saying the projections, and even Evans, if he doesn't score that touchdown, we were kind of all over even his projection being lower than it should be. You got the late touchdown, and that always skews it. But like you said, so we're doing these shows based on.
And by the way, I can't let you move on. Can you at least apologize for the Golden Tate thing?
Because he scored the low. Oh God, you're not gonna victory lap Golden Tate.
Can you please apologize?
No, I'm not apologizing.
You made fun of me for Golden Tate being my favorite dude. I just want an apology. That's it.
Golden Tate was so bad at that game.
I just want an apology. That's it. All I want. That's all.
I'll take my L's when they come, but that was
I don't even want no. I just want you to apologize.
Oh my God. He had one catch for like 3 yards and you bink a touch.
Whoa, don't forget about the pass for 18.
Oh yeah, the
pass for 18.
I mean, but the point Hoop just made though is the best point of all. We do these shows based on like Millie Maker big field tournaments. Obviously, the cash team, let me go back to it. The team that Hoop just talked about, like right here, Devontae, Jones, Rogers, Mullins, and 2 pass catchers. If you play this in the Millie Maker, you are just doing it wrong. Do not put this team. Sure, if it's your main team and you put it in everything, go ahead. But do not say you're a casual person right now watching us on YouTube for free. You're playing $15, I think it is tonight on DK. If you spend your $15 and put this in the Millie Maker, you are lighting money on fire. Put it in a double up and you'll still win more, because even if this team somehow was the winner, you are going to split it a million ways.
So many ways. And it's not just this. It's any combination of this with like the cheap Green Bay guys. I mean, this team, this build right here is going to be duped like so many different ways.
So let's hop back into the one where we give him 12. We got the new optimal is, so here's a team that I think this team might be more popular even. You got Devontae, MVS, Rogers. Maybe you flip Rogers and Adams, and then he's got 2 pass catchers. But then you got Mullins, Hasty, Trent Taylor. Like, this is more of a build I would like over that other team, even without Jones in it, because I want Hasty. Like, I want Hasty on all my teams tonight. I love Hasty. Where do you rank Hasty tonight?
Hasty?
Oh, now you're getting me even more excited. Hasty? That's a
Hasty. Isn't that a good one?
I mean, Hasty.
You got to remember that at the end of the night.
Oh, it's stuck in my head. It's definitely coming out. Hasty.
Hasty. Where do I put him? I don't know. I'm not as high. Like
you're not as high on Hasty. So who do you like from the Niners?
You're not worried about like the Niners just totally going to somebody else at running back, like saying, all right, now we're going to use McKinnon this week, or I don't know.
Who else do they got besides the 2? McKinnon said he's got dead leg like you on the basketball court.
Drop foot. It was
McKinnon's got drop foot.
It was a very serious medical condition that luckily I was able to fight through, but it's nothing to make fun of people about, buddy. It's so mean. Others medical conditions coming at him for medical conditions.
Rank these dudes for me. Niners, rank them.
What do you mean? In terms of like raw fantasy points or what?
I mean, on this slate, just like how they fit into your teams. Like,
okay, I'll tell you right now who my number one is.
Not cash wise. In the Millie Maker, how would you rank these guys?
Robbie Gould.
Your number one Niners dude would be Robbie Gould?
Yeah. Gold.
So if you're playing 5 Packers, Robbie Gould would be the first guy in your team for the Niners.
He's my favorite price per dollar type play. I mean, I like Gold.
Cash. I said Millie Maker. You're playing Robbie Gould as your only dude.
He's my favorite.
So he's your favorite. Who's your second?
Well, I mean, these cheap. I mean, you have to play those cheap wide receivers. I
like Jordan Reed more than Robbie Gould.
Jordan Reed, yeah, that's the guy I did want to bring up. Activated 5.8K. He's priced. I mean, he's priced at a spot where people might overlook him. He still has the IR tag on DK, which will, I think, lower his ownership quite a bit. That's a good call. Talk about Jordan Reed a little bit more.
I mean, I just think he's been out since what, a month ago or however long it was he got hurt. I mean, we talked about him on the wood the one week. He goes for a crisp 24 piece for us, 7 for 50,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. The next week he gets 6 targets, 2 for 23, but he gets hurt. So he has been out since then. Now he comes back into the full nut Yahtzee spot where they have no receivers. Running backs are hurt. This dude has always been good when he's on the field, like always. He was awesome when he's got like 19 concussions, so maybe he's only one hit. What did I say about our boy Cooks the one week? If you play Cooks, you're not allowed to complain about an injury.
Yeah,
same thing with
here.
Jordan Reed tonight. If Jordan Reed gets hurt tonight, you're not allowed to say you were unlucky. That's against the rules because he has a really good chance of getting hurt every time he steps on the field. But that being said, I think he's a great play tonight. I mean, what is he? He is 5,800. I don't think that's going to be popular on this slate because
he's got that IR tag still next to his name too. So especially in those large field GPPs, like people build teams early, they're clearly not clicking that Jordan Reed name with the IR tag on it.
Yeah, and dude in chat says Jordan Reed or Ross Dwelly. Yeah, you can play Dwelly. It's kind of the same thing as we had the discussion the last time this happened. I just think Jordan Reed is a better player than him. I definitely don't want to fade either one of them, but like I think both of these guys are better than the receivers to me. I think Trent Taylor is going to be popular. Richie James is going to be popular because of that price tag, but I like Jordan Reed and Dwelly way better personally in tournaments. I'm going to be way under on Trent Taylor and Richie because of what Hoop said. Like if you play these guys with the 3 Packers guys, you just have no chance at being unique. And I want to be unique on these slates.
Yeah, I mean it's hard if you pair 2 of them together. Like it's going to clearly be the popular chalky type route to go. Who is it? There's one other guy I wanted to bring. Talk about Mullins a little bit more. I mean, he's priced up there. If Aaron Jones is a full go, which we don't know at this point, I mean, it sounds like could potentially be limited. He's right there in that price range. You're more on the Niners running game, I know, but talk about Mullins a little bit.
Man, I struggle with Mullins. That's my only issue with San Francisco is I just hate Mullins. Why couldn't they just do me? I mean, this slate, if they started my boy Beat Goat, I mean, Mr. Beat Hard, like it'd be like Christmas right now if I could have him in there. But they start Mullins, 9,200. He's going to be super popular. I mean, what percentage of teams do you think just start with those 4 and then
just
salary do you have?
So many. I mean, it's easy.
Like, say I play, I mean, I think the best captain for sure is Devontae. So let's just say I go super chalky. I play Devontae, I play Rodgers, I play Aaron Jones, and I play Mullins.
Yeah, and you get 2 guys, 2 cheap dudes that everyone's going to play that.
Hit the wrong, but I was just, so you got 700 left.
Yeah.
I don't think, I'll go out on a limb and say, I don't think this is the winner. I don't think playing. That's another reason I don't want to play those 2 cheap receivers too, because if you do play this, I just think you're stuck playing those 2. Like who else is the
dirt? The thing is when you start building these teams, it's just such a substantial drop off after Mullins. Like you're not going to be excited to play. I mean, there's no one really playable after that until Hasty at 7-2. So Hasty, then Tanyan.
Hasty, call him by his name. Respect his name.
Yeah, I've got to put respect on that name for sure, Mr. Tasty Hasty. You heard it here first too, by the way. So I mean, that's got to be a Hoop Big T thing. Tasty Hasty. We were the first ones. We Bam Bam Go Ham Ham for Mr. Adebayo. We kind of started that. We're trendsetters. What can you say? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the tough thing is when you start building these teams, I mean, you got a big gap between Mullins and the next actual playable guy on the slate with Tasty Hasty, and that is a $2,000 drop. I mean, any merit to just building like those chalky teams, maybe in like higher stake stuff, building those chalky teams, and then just drop from a Mullins to a Tasty Hasty?
I mean, I like Tasty Hasty way more than. I mean, so you're 1,700 right there. Like For me, this is like where I want to be. So the chat is all over us about Jones. Like they think Jones is the worst play ever. And I don't get it because if he's playing, he is definitely in play. It's not like they're wheeling him out there on one leg. Like
I just feel like we've been here before with Jones too. When he comes back from an injury, we're gonna ease him back, and he's not gonna get 100%.
He's got 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he comes in for 4 dingers. Like I don't know. I'm always hesitant to trust what they say on Aaron Jones. Like I said, I feel like we've been here before where he's not getting all the work. He's not getting all the work. Like if he's suiting up, like to me, he's getting a majority of the work, and I just feel like we've been here before with him. I'm gonna trust the Packers on this one, honestly, and I think I'm gonna lean high, especially if the general consensus is that he's not going to get all the work and he's too risky to play. I think it's could be one of the edges we're looking for on the slate.
So just to demonstrate like what you can do with some of these numbers, like so just say Trent Taylor and Richie James are going to be projected higher. Let's just see what happens if I make these guys 5 and 4 instead of like 10 and 8 type thing. So we're lowering them significantly, probably lower than I think you should even. I'm just going to show just to see what it does though. And I start with these 3, who are my 3 favorite plays: Devontae, Rodgers, Tasty. I lower these guys like that, and then I come maybe I make Jordan Reed's pretty good at 10. Tanyan's good at 10. I think Dwelly's good at 6. Let's look at the running backs. I mean, these guys are solid enough. Let's just see what it gives us now with my 3 favorite plays locked in there. We got 4,400 left. We lowered the super cheap guys, though. I'm interested to see how much they still pop at 5 and 4 because really there's no way they're not getting 4 or 5 outside of injury. I mean, they're gonna get something. They're gonna have too much volume. I do like Irvin too, though. Like everyone likes Irvin. He has paths whether Jones plays whether depending on how much he plays. Like if he plays full time, he's still gonna get some work. Halftime, he's still gonna get some work. So let's look at these.
Oh, just one thing.
Oh, look at that. So that gives us MVS, Crosby, Reed. I can definitely get behind a build like that. Next one, Trent Taylor, Mullins, MVS. See, this is a build I don't love, but it's still solid.
Just wanted to mention this. So it looks like the 49ers added some bodies for tonight. They added a running back, Austin Walter, 2 wide receivers, River Craycraft, and Kevin White, and then a tight end, Daniel Helm, and then Jordan Reed. So they've added some bodies, which I think might add a little bit of risk to those cheap wide receivers, like you talked about there. So maybe being off them a little bit does make some sense.
I just think it helps a lot. So this brings it up. I mean, we got where's these dudes? So I lowered them to what I lowered them to 5 and 4. I think all of a sudden they're hitting. Trent Taylor hits 20%, Richie James 14. So if you lower them just a little bit, basically you're going to need double digits from these guys, even though they're cheap. Like Hoop and me always say, usually you don't need 10 from a 200 guy. But tonight, with the way this slate sets up, I do think you're going to need double digits from these guys. What do you think of Kevin White, former first-round pick, Easy says? Is that really Kevin White from West Virginia? Is that right?
Someone was just activated with the name Kevin White. I don't know. Is he on the slate? Do they have him?
He was on there. I saw him earlier. Is this the dude from West Virginia, chat? This dude was a stud.
Let's see. The 2015 number 7 overall draft choice. Is that him?
I'm trying to look.
Yeah, the chat will fill us in. But
yes, this dude is a stud. Kevin White's a stud.
It's $200.
Oh
he's
man,
200 on the slate for 200. But there's a lot of different ways to go. Honestly, I mean, there's not many times where you have so many viable cheap dudes. The problem is there's just not a ton of people to spend up. I mean, clearly a slate where you should be comfortable leaving a lot of salary on the table, right?
I'm sitting here trying to figure this dude. Yeah, no, tonight is definitely a slate to leave salary where, man, Kevin White's a stud. I'm kind of excited about this Kevin White dude.
200 bones.
And he's in the same spot where Like, why is Trent Taylor and Richie James a better play than Kevin White, who I at least know is talented? Trent Taylor is not talented. I can say that with confidence. He's a possession guy. He can get some catches over the middle. He can get us like 5 for 50, and maybe he scores a touchdown to completely break the slate. I'm not saying he can't. Again, I'm not saying that. But Kevin White can get you like a 80-yard touchdown, and he's actually skilled. He's got some talent. So I don't know. A lot of and this Craycraft is from Washington State, I think. I remember rostering him in college. He can play a little. So all these guys, it's the same type of thing where I think you should just go player groups, Rodgers captain. I mean, and make sure you got all these dudes. Like we always say, I mean, I think – I guess Mullins captain would be these guys, so I'm confusing myself. But, I mean, I can't play a Mullins captain, so I guess I backpedaled off what I just said.
Yeah, I don't like that at all, Mullins in the captain spot.
What's the path for him? I guess if in your path, I guess if Green Bay gets a lead and they force him to throw a ton, I can't play Mullins captain.
I can't imagine playing anyone besides like Devontae and Aaron Rodgers in the captain spot tonight, to be honest with you. Like, I think there's just
I don't even like Rodgers all that much.
Well, then if that's the case, I just lock in Devontae Adams. I mean, I do
think it could be a 150 slate where you just lock him.
I feel so much better. Honestly, I'd feel so much better just doing that. Just floor is so damn high.
How many targets is he going to get? Seriously, like 20?
I mean, if it's a close game, I mean, the ceiling is through. I mean, there's just no competition. Like, MVS freaking sucks. I mean, yeah, Tanyan's good. We like him. I don't know. Like, I think he's just such a safe play. Yeah, one more thing, guys. Remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Like I said, these shows are typically part of our premium package, but we're doing it for free today without money, other sports going on. So make sure to head on over to Run Pure Sports. If you want to give us a look, we have a promo right now. The promo code is Showdown. Gets you 25% off your first payment. And, our packages is all inclusive, basically. You get everything on the site, everything on the Showdown site, Run Pure Sports site, Run Pure Showdown site. You get everything for one low cost, 25% off. If you use that promo code Showdown, make sure to hit the like button, man. We got some premium gear out there. We only got 120. We said if we get to 150, we'll give away a shirt or a hat or something. The guys are kind of slacking. I mean, 450 people. This is what's the word we always say? It's hurtful. Very
hurtful. I mean, if you ever have 450, and I mean, we're talking about the goods. Tasty Hasty going to win us the money tonight.
Hasty.
I mean, we can't be giving out the goods like this if we're only at 122 with 450 watching. Yeah, at 200 we'll give more gear. So 150.
We're men. Yeah, Tony, Big T, and Hooper. We're men of the people, man. We're in this for the people. The Morning Wood crew. I know a lot of the Morning Wood crew has to be here right now. We want to do more of these free shows, but if we don't get any traction, I mean, we're just gonna have to keep it behind the paywall. So, like button, subscribe. Tell your friends all about us. Tell your friends about Tasty Hasty tonight. Tasty Hasty's where it's at. Let's hop on over and talk about
one last thing here before we flip over. So somebody in the chat, if the Niners win, like Big T says, how can you not have some Mullins captain? Exactly what I said. The reason I think the Niners win is the ground. If I think they're going to win on the ground, I'm not going to play Mullins captain. I don't think they're going to beat them through the air. So that's why I wouldn't play Mullins captain. Next guy said, Showdown suck because if you win, it's a dupe. I'm the perfect example to say that's not true because I've won 5 or 6 solo ships. Yeah, don't get in there and play the 3 studs tonight with Richie James and these cheap guys and think you're going to solo ship. But if you get in there and play Tasty Hasty in the captain and get a little different in some spots, then maybe you solo ship, leave salary. I mean, come on. I mean, that's just a cop-out when people say that. Sure, a lot of times it is a duplicate because the chalky teams hit. But, I mean, the dude almost won $1 million 2 weeks ago off $15. So
got to be looking to be unique in these things. I mean, yeah, like Tony said, a lot of times you there is duplicate lineups that win. But guess what? When you have a unique lineup that ships, It's fun, and Tony can attest to that because he's done it multiple times. And that should be the goal when you're building these teams, to kind of come up with, especially in the Millie Maker. I mean, it's different. Some of the higher stake tournaments when there's only 100 people, 150 people, you can have a different strategy. But when you're trying to win that Millie or these super large field tournaments, that has to be in the back of your head. You want to make teams that are going to be able to put you in the position to ship solo in first, and not with 1,000 or 2,000 other people. It definitely should be your goal.
And like we always say, like, if you're a casual person, which most people are watching us right now are casual people playing, if you're playing like $30 tonight and putting 1 or 2 in this Millie Maker, I don't know why you would do it any differently. You're only playing for fun anyways. Try to hit something, do something different. Don't get in there and just play the dead chalk and try to win $30 off your 15 or 50 off your 30. If you're doing that, if that's truly your goal, play Hoops team, the chalk team, and play a double up though. Don't put it in the Millie Maker. Play a cash game against one other person head to head and try to double up. But don't put chalky teams in. I mean, I'm not saying you can't at all. Like, if you play 20 teams and play a little chalk, but if you're a dead casual person playing 2 teams tonight, I don't know why you wouldn't just play a little bit.
We just had our first apparel winner, and I'm going to be biased this time, and I'm giving it to Mr. Ryan Trotter. Ryan Trotter, send Big T your information. He says, man, like we say every time, don't want the parking lot kiss after the movies. You want to get your butt to that workbench. And that's a very good point he brought up. He's obviously a loyal listener. So Ryan Trotter, reach out to Tony on Twitter, or email info@RunPureSports. We'll get you a piece of gear. We appreciate your loyalty, man, because that is the case when you're doing these showdown things, man. It's like, you don't want to build the teams that you're going to get the smooch in the parking lot. Me and Tony are proponents of workbench time. You need to be looking to get into that workbench, on the workbench, on the right side of the workbench, and take care of business. So, definitely you have to always, if you're playing those large field GPPs, how are you going to solo ship? Not how am I going to cash? Cashing in those things, you might as well take your money and just light it on fire, because you don't want to cash. You want to get to the top by yourself. And that, and I think people kind of take that out of context too. They think they have to build these teams that have all these players that are under 5%. No, that's not the case. Like, you can play chalky guys. Like, we're not saying don't play chalky guys. You can clearly play chalky guys, but make stands. If you're going to play Devontae Adams, lock him in. If you feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to beat Devontae Adams, put Aaron Rodgers in the captain over Devontae. Like, just make stands and do unique things elsewhere. We are gonna head on over and talk about FanDuel.
So just one more thing to show you guys too. Say you got the lineup builder. Again, this is where people get confused. So if you just go to FanDuel off that page, it's not going to load our projections. You got to come back out, click that down, come back to our page, go back just to the main page, Run Pure Sports. Show you guys. I had the other page up. I must have flipped it though. Come NFL, same exact thing, lineup builder. You got to go to the actual spot though. Click the FanDuel NFL spot to get the correct spot up. Because if you just go from DK to FanDuel, it won't work and it'll get confusing. See, like right now, it still leaves it up though, so you can always just pull both of them up at the same time as well. But let's see. FanDuel is going to be interesting tonight because even more so than usual.
Yeah, the cheap plays aren't as cheap. I mean, typically we always talk about on these shows, like a $200 play on DK, $400 play on DK, like on FanDuel, probably not as good play. It's only $5,000. And I mean, maybe with your strategy, maybe those guys are more appealing because they'll have less ownership, but some of the prices are so bad. Jordan Reed, who we both really like, he for some reason is $5,000 on FanDuel, and I'd have a very hard time not playing him in a majority of my lineups. That's the first thing that kind of stands out. I think the conversation between Rodgers and Devontae Adams is a little closer because it's not full PPR over there on FanDuel. So I think Aaron Rodgers outscoring Devontae Adams a little more likely on FanDuel. Mullins for a quarterback is pretty cheap at $12K. Typically the quarterbacks on FanDuel are, 13.5 or 14K kind of floor, but he's 12. Mr. Tasty Hasty coming in at 11. I think a better FanDuel play than DK because he's just not very active in the passing game. Just give me your initial rundown here on FanDuel.
Yeah, so ran the 150 while you were talking. We got Rodgers 84, Devontae 16. I mean, that looks pretty much exactly what I would have guessed it was. Come to the flex, you got the studs, Devontae, Mullins, Jones. I still only projected Jones for 15 or something, so not a crazy projection. McKinnon, Hasty, Jordan Reed getting 23%. Dexter Williams, I don't even know. I might not have lowered him enough. If Aaron Jones is in, I'm not playing Dexter Williams. I would rather play Tyler Ervin. But, I mean, I agree with you. Like, Jordan Reed at 5K is going to be very, very hard for me not to play. I mean, so just say, kind of like we did on the other site, if you start with, just say we start with Rodgers in the captain, or in the MVP, I should say, and Devontae. I mean, because you're never fading these guys on FanDuel. Whether you flip-flop them, whether you play someone else in the MVP if you wanted to be different, you're still playing them, and there's no multiplier. So no matter what, you're starting with 98-33 for your last three spots, no matter what order you want to put them in. And, I mean, all of a sudden, if you put Jordan Reed in that, you got 12-250 for your last two. FanDuel more than ever tonight, too. Leave salary. Like, don't go on there. So what were like the builds? Let me go back to the lineups. The builds. So you got, oh yeah, I already looked at this one, but Rodgers and Devon, like that is just a really good build. I don't love Mullins, but man, that build is, I mean, you got everything you could want. And again, like Hoop said on the other side, if you play this freaking build right here and you think you're going to somehow win a chunk of money, I bet you win under $100 if this team is the optimal. Like off, and that's it.
See, I don't know. I disagree with you a little bit on that one, just because there's 1,500 people look to on FanDuel like way too much to spend all their salary, and there's $1,500 left on this. I don't think Hasty's going to be as popular as you think he's going to be.
Who's going to be in there then?
Huh?
Who would be in this spot then?
I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I could be wrong.
There's no one else to play is the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. Maybe you're right.
I mean, maybe you play Aaron Jones. Like what? So what if we bump? Let me bump Jones and let's see what happens. Let's bump Jones up to. I mean, I already got him at 15 though. It's tough to put him higher than that.
Yeah,
I can't put him higher than 15. That's probably too high even. Hasty's at 12. Hasty.
Hasty. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, that's probably will be.
Else to play, right?
Yeah, you're right. There really isn't anyone else. Yeah, FanDuel, man. That's so. What is we got Trent Taylor. They're both 5K too. So you got Trent Taylor, you got Richie James, and Jordan Reed, all 5K.
All 5K.
It's I guess the one problem on FanDuel is you only have 5 roster spots too, so it makes it even more difficult when you have 2 just clear guys that are, I think, nearly impossible to fade. Like fading Adams or Aaron Rodgers, I think
even if they suck, man. Like even say they have a horrible game. Like I like San Francisco. Say Rodgers gets 12 and Devontae gets 12 too. Just give them both 12. They're still probably going to be on the winner. Like it's going to be very, very hard.
Yeah, so I mean, then you're dealing with basically 3 roster spots, and there's just not many options. There's not many viable guys to play in those. It's going to be a boring night. I mean, on FanDuel, not very exciting. It's definitely going to be very, very difficult to solo ship on FanDuel tonight, right?
Well, with one of the – say Green Bay plays good like you think they will, and they score a bunch.
Yeah,
and Adams and Rodgers do good, then it's going to be nearly impossible. The only way is if you like San Francisco like I do and you go a little bit heavier. Like the way – so right now in my head, I'm thinking like if I just play – say I lock both of these guys, this is just somehow I would do just to just show the people how I could be different. I could lock both of these guys in my utility, not in the MVP, which is going to be different in itself, immediately different. And then I would just come in and just get rid of every other Green Bay guy. Like, so I'm not going to play Rodgers, Dexter, Irvin. I mean, all these dudes. This is just one way to build. Again, you don't have to do this. Get rid of all of them. It's just one way to build tournament teams. All of a sudden, these are my only 2 Green Bay guys. Now run my 150. and see what it gives me. Let's just see what kind of unique builds it'll give me with 3-9. I still got the 2 best guys on Green Bay too. And I'll have a chance to be different though, just because I'll have a different MVP and just a different build by not putting in a third Packers guy on most of them. I mentioned, did I change the salary too? I might have changed the salary too, where, oh no, I didn't. You could even leave. I'm probably going to leave salary naturally, but you could even do that where you leave some salary as well. Like tonight, I think you should literally lower this to like whatever you want. Lower it to anything.
I think it'll be impossible to even fill out the 60 if you eliminated Aaron Jones. I mean, could you physically even do it if you played these two and you eliminate Aaron Jones? Let's say you put in Mullins. Okay, yeah, I mean you could. Mullins and Hasty. Tasty, sorry, yeah. Hasty.
It's that the same build, right? But with Mullins at MVP.
Yeah, it's going to be like super hard to spend the salary even without putting that in there just from building these teams. Did it pop up yet?
Yeah, I mean, so we got, I mean, just a few of the same ones like Mullins capped there, Mullins MVP, Reed, Hasty, Mullins, Taylor, Hasty. It's another thing too. If you're playing Mullins, I mean, I wouldn't play him with Hasty. That's one of the rules you have to set in there.
Not with this team and their roles. No, Hasty is not. You don't pair him with Mullins. Definitely don't pair him with Mullins.
And you got all these cheap weapons: Jordan Reed, Dwelly, Taylor, Richie James. All these guys. There's that freaking Chris Thompson again popping in the builder. I don't even know who that guy is, but he keeps popping in there. So if you're using our lineup builder tonight, make sure you get Chris Thompson out of there because he is definitely not on the team. So.
Your boy White is not in the player pool on FanDuel.
He's not in it at all?
No, it's not in there.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the way I'm going to go, I like Casey for sure. So, I think you can play him with McKinnon too. I mean, how much salary does that leave me with if say that I get my build exactly how I want it and I play Hasty in the MVP and I play McKinnon too, just because I think they're going to pound him on the ground game is my plan. I have 11-5 for my last spot. Like you can play tons of guys in there with it.
McKinnon 7K. What is he? He's 8K on D. Wow, geez, that's a big difference between the two sides.
7K on FanDuel is nice.
Yeah, 7K. That's a good price tag for him for sure. I don't think he'll be all that owned either with these other cheap dudes. So it's definitely something to look at. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered it pretty good. I mean, it's gonna be a fun night because I think there's gonna be a ton of chalk and there's so many cheap guys you can play where. Like White and all these guys that, I mean, we didn't even talk about every one of them. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple cheap guys we didn't even discuss.
Yeah.
Like Craig Kraft, I think is a decent, all these guys are 5K and it's almost like a bingo card. You got to somehow hit who's the cheap guy.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, you really would need to be unique when building these teams and kind of think outside the box a little bit, especially today. We know Aaron Rodgers is going to be probably almost 100% owned. Devontae Adams, the same can be said. I mean, the big thing on this slate is figuring out Aaron Jones, I think, and what you want to do with him. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean,
that's probably the most important thing.
Do you think we're going to get like solid info on Aaron Jones though? We're going to have to wait almost, right?
I think the info we have now is probably what we're going to have to roll with, to be honest with you, because I don't know if they're going to say anything else. They basically say he's going to warm up and make sure he's okay and go. But I mean, like I said, my lean right now, that could change before lock, is that if he's going to play, he's going to get a good enough portion of the snaps to make a solid fantasy impact. I guess that's kind of my take at this point on it.
One rule I think I will have in mind, just to make sure I'm different for sure, is I think I'll set a rule that I don't want the 3 Green Bay stars no matter what. So my Aaron Jones teams, I probably won't have one of Rodgers or Adams, because if Jones hits his ceiling, I don't think the other guys will be as good. And I want to be different too. Like, I don't want to play those 3. It's so hard to be different if you play all 3 of them. I just want that rule. Like, give me 2 of those 3.
Yeah. I like that call. Definitely like that. But yeah, to me, the most important part is figuring out what you want to do with Aaron Jones. And I always say, like, I never want to go with what I think the field's going to do. If the field's going to be 40% on Aaron Jones, like, I want to be way above that, way below that. It's kind of my approach. All right, as I said a little bit ago, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. Make sure to check out Run Pure Sports. Use promo code Showdown. It gets you 25% off all our premium product, which is, everything on the site you get access to. The most popular piece of content that we have by far is the core plays. All our contributors for every single sport, every slate, list 3 to 4 plays that they're building their teams around, and it gets really good feedback. People love it. Then we have a little statement underneath it, like, all right, I'm playing these guys, and this is basically how much salary you have left. You can go ahead and look to this dude, look to that dude to fill in the rest of your lineup. And like I said, most popular piece of content that we have. So use that promo code Showdown to get 25% off your first payment. All right, we're going to get on out of here. Good luck to everyone in your lineups. Mr. Tasty Hasty is going to lead us to the winner's circle tonight. I have a good feeling he's going to get us to the workbench. What do you think about that, Tony?
I feel good about it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the night. I mean, the spread is sitting about 6.5. I like when this number is 6.5. Everyone likes Green Bay. It's where I'm comfort. This is my comfort zone right here. Going
Niners have treated you well.
Oh yeah, I love the Niners in this spot so much. I plus 250 right now on the money line. I like that.
Yep. All right, me and Tony will be hopping out of here and putting together the playbook for tonight for this Showdown slate, which will include our core plays and a couple other builds that we have some interest in as well, with the kind of full breakdown of the slate. So make sure to head on over there and check that out at runpuresports.com. For Big T, I'm Hoop. Good luck to everyone in your contest tonight. See you later.